Hello, welcome to Rando Tech Info and our ultra long-term review of the S21 Ultra. With the exception of the 4 weeks I had my SIM card in the Pixel 6 Pro for its review, I have been using the S21 Ultra as my daily use device every day for the past year. And I use it a lot. Gaming, calling, texting, taking photos, banking, shopping, doom scrolling, tracking my finances, watching videos, and perhaps most importantly of all, recording videos. And I say most importantly because for the past year, I've used the Ultra for just about all of the recording I have done for this channel. In fact, I'm using it to record right now. So I have a pretty good idea of what this phone does well and what it could do better. And since this is a Samsung device, let's go ahead and start out by talking about the thing you can almost always expect to be good, the screen. The screen on the Ultra is amazing. It's a bright, sharp 6.8-inch QHD display with a 120Hz refresh rate, great for viewing content, gaming, and using outdoors. The display is curved at the edges, and while I'm normally a fan of flat displays, the curve on the Ultra is so slight I really don't mind it. In fact, when having a case on the phone, I think the curve actually makes using gesture navigations easier. Even almost 1 year after its release, it's still one of the best screens you can find on any device. There's really not much else to say. And in 2021, Samsung finally stepped up their game and made the back of the phone almost as pretty as the front. The overall form factor of the 21 Ultra is one of my all-time faves. The matte finish on the black version of the phone with the black aluminum side rails, along with the way the camera module blends into the sides of the device, makes for a slick looking and ultra polished package. See what I did there? I almost felt guilty putting a case on it, but don't be deceived by the phone's good looks. It's also tough. Yes, I did usually have a case on it, but over the course of the past year, the phone still took its fair share of drops and abuse. And through it all, the phone still looks like new. Even the Gorilla Glass Victus protected screen, which is really impressive since while I do use a case, I don't use a screen protector. And the phone's IP68 water resistance rating has made sure its encounters with the wet stuff hasn't hurt it either. The rest of the hardware features on this phone are also top-notch. Everything from the loud dual-firing speakers to the quick and accurate fingerprint scanner are A+ grade quality. Not that you would expect anything less from a flagship Samsung device. What people might not have been expecting about this device before its launch is S Pen functionality. Historically, S Pen functionality was something that had always been reserved for the Note series and something that kind of set it apart from its contemporaries. But in 2021, Samsung decided to cancel the Note and bring the S Pen to the S21 Ultra. I actually had a Note 2 and a Note 4 back in the day. Actually, I still have them. But that doesn't matter. The point is, I forgot how much I actually liked having a stylus to use with my phone. It just makes things like cutting and pasting or navigating certain apps or websites so much easier. Additionally, you can use any S Pen from any previous device and it will work just fine on the 21 Ultra. The S Pen I'm using is a Note 8 replacement pen I snagged off the Zon for under 10 bucks, which sits nice and flat on the back of the $13 case I was able to pick up for it, also off the Zon. So while the S Pen doesn't come with the phone like it always did with the Note series, at least you can upgrade your S21 Ultra to an S Pen setup for under $25. If you yourself are interested in purchasing either one of these products, I will leave links to both of them down in the description. As always, I don't get anything if you use these links. I'm just a nice guy.
Yes, you are.
One last thing that I did want to mention is that the only way to get Bluetooth features on an S Pen while using the S21 Ultra, such as air gestures or using the pen as a remote shutter button for your camera, is to pick up the S Pen Pro. But that thing costs $100, and since you can't even charge the pen inside the phone like you could with a Note, I'm really not sure the extra features are worth it. Now let's get away from hardware for a minute and talk software. The S21 series is currently running One UI 4.0, which is Samsung's version of Android 12. Back in the TouchWiz software days, Samsung's phones were often criticized for their software experience not meeting the standards of their hardware experience. That really isn't the case anymore. Samsung replaced TouchWiz with One UI in 2018, and neither Samsung or their user base has looked back since. It's not quite as pretty as the skin as, say, Material U on the new Pixel phones, and it doesn't provide the clean user experience you will find with a lighter skin like Oxygen OS. But One UI is still pretty intuitive and has a lot of nice extra features. My favorite of which is Samsung DeX, which allows you to run your phone's display through your computer, desktop, or monitor, which is an amazing multitasking tool. It also allows you to look productive when playing Balloons Tower Defense. Just know that sadly, not all games are DeX compatible. If you want to know about a specific game, let me know down in the comments and I will test it for you. And if you do find yourself down in the comments section anyway, you may as well consider giving the video a like and subbing to the channel.
Fine. I'll do it.
My other favorite One UI feature is Bixby Routines, and before you write this feature off, just know it doesn't really have anything to do with Bixby, which is probably why I like it so much. Routines let you set up automated routines on your phone when certain conditions are met. For example, in order to save battery, I have my phone set up to turn off Wi-Fi whenever I leave the house. There are literally thousands of different if-then combos you can set up, and if you find the whole thing to be a little intimidating, you can always start with some of Samsung's pre-made suggestions, which are actually not terrible. Some other clever One UI features include the Edge panel, which provides customized shortcuts for your most frequently used apps, one-handed mode, which I don't think I need to explain, and Game Booster, which gives you some control over certain features of your phone while gaming, like turning off notifications or navigation gestures. And you can even use it to monitor your phone's gaming performance. One UI is a fairly heavy Android skin offering a lot of customized features, but thankfully not at the cost of performance, at least on the 21 Ultra. Yes, there are other phones running the same Snapdragon 888 processor that are capable of better benchmark scores, but in day-to-day use, One UI on the Ultra gives a very snappy and responsive user experience. Apps open quickly, games play smoothly on the highest settings, even if the phone does get a little toasty, and there are really no noticeable bugs or crashes to be found, at least none that I've noticed. The phone has truly been rock solid, and it might be the most reliable piece of tech I've ever owned. I know here at the beginning of 2022, the new Snapdragon and Exynos chips have dropped, promising better features and faster speeds, but honestly, the 21 Ultra is still an absolute beast, and there is no reason to choose a new phone over this phone strictly based on performance. You also don't need to worry a lot about software future-proofing either, because Samsung has promised 3 major operating system updates and 4 years of security updates on the S21 series, meaning even after the recent Android 12 update, you still have 2 major OS updates and 3 years of security updates coming your way. Next, let's talk cameras, and spoiler alert, I love the cameras on this thing. The front-facing camera and all 4 rear-facing cameras provide a reliable, top-notch photo and video experience. Daylight photography, night photography, and portraits are all great on the Ultra, and whether or not you think the phone does as good with these things as an iPhone or a Pixel will largely come down to your personal preference. The phone also has some pretty cool special features, like Single Take, which lets the phone's AI take over and construct its own cool video and camera shots from a scene or event, and Object Eraser, which can be used to remove the unwanted from your photos. I actually did an entire video comparing the Object Eraser to the Google Magic Eraser on the Pixel 6, so if you want to know how they stack up against each other, I will leave a link to that video over my head and down in the description.
Sounds interesting.
But honestly, the 3 things that I think set this phone's camera system apart from the rest are its zoom, its video recording, and its pro modes. The phone has 2 zoom cameras, a x3 telephoto sensor and a 10x telephoto sensor, and they both take amazing still shots and videos. The x10 sensor in particular is very impressive and allows you to get shots that most other phones just can't replicate. And video shot on the Ultra is next level. Shots in most lighting conditions are clean, color reproduction is accurate and consistent between all the sensors, and thanks to the phone's laser autofocus, blur is rarely an issue. And for all you res hounds out there, the phone can also shoot video up to 60 frames per second in 4K from all rear sensors and from the front sensor. The phone can also shoot 24 frames per second in 8K, but only from the primary rear sensor. Other cool video recording features include Director's View, which allows you to record with the front-facing camera and one of the rear-facing cameras simultaneously, and a video portrait mode, which lets you record stuff that looks like this. But in my opinion, the most impressive thing about this phone's camera system are its pro modes, and it's something that most tech influencers and reviewers seem to just gloss over or hardly mention when they're talking about this phone, and I don't understand why. The Pro Video and Photography modes allow you to take better control of your captures by allowing you to manually adjust things like focus, ISO, and exposure. Normally, you would need to download a third-party camera app to have access to these features. And if you have ever tried to use a third-party camera app before, you probably know that they could be very hit or miss when it comes to how well they work with your particular device. One bummer I do need to mention about the Pro modes is you cannot use the telephoto sensors with these modes. You can only use the wide and ultra-wide sensors. Now understand you don't have to use the Pro modes on this phone, they are completely separate modes within the camera app. So if you are just a point and shoot type of gal or guy, you can forgo all of this stuff and still have a high quality, easy to use camera experience. But if you are serious about your camera work or you are a content creator like me, I think you will find the Pro modes on this device to be incredibly useful. I use my S21 Ultra for virtually all the video shots and thumbnails I create on this channel, and while I might be biased, I think they turn out pretty good. Good enough at least that I have yet to find a need to purchase a dedicated camera for the channel. When you consider the quality and versatility of this phone's camera system, I think it's truly the best you will find on any phone from the past year, including the iPhone 13 and Pixel 6. Finally, let's talk battery life. Battery life on the 21 Ultra could be described as anywhere between pretty good and meh. If you only use your phone to watch content, scroll social media, call and text, you will easily get through the day with the Ultra, probably with over 30 or 40% juice to spare. However, if you're like me and you use your phone a lot for gaming or you find yourself shooting lots of video, you will burn through the Ultra's 5,000 mAh battery pretty fast. With the exception of the iPhone, which has brought next level battery life to the 13 series, I think it will find the battery life on the 21 Ultra to be similar to that of other large batteried modern flagships. Charging speed on the Ultra is also meh. You can expect a full charge in a little over an hour when using the official Samsung 25-watt charger, which of course is sold separately. This type of charging speed isn't terrible, but it's definitely slow compared to a lot of the competition, like the OnePlus 10 Pro with its crazy 80-watt Super VOOK charging. Wireless charging is also less than fast. You can get up to 15-watt wireless charging if you drop the coin on a first-party charger, but most other Qi wireless chargers will only get you 5-watt charging. The Ultra does also have reverse wireless charging, and although I haven't used that feature a lot, it has been a lifesaver on a couple of occasions. So what are my final thoughts on the S21 Ultra, and is it still worth picking up in 2022? As I'm sure you can tell from the review, I still think the S21 Ultra is a great phone. It's feature-rich, reliable, has a great camera system, and it's still set to receive 3 more years of software updates. The biggest problem right now about getting an S21 Ultra is actually finding one. Probably largely in part because while I'm recording this video, the S22 series is looming. The phone is no longer available on Samsung's website, and it looks like most carriers are no longer offering the phone either. But you can still find it renewed and refurbished on Amazon and eBay for around $1,000, which in my view is a pretty good deal, and of course you can probably find it even cheaper from a reliable individual seller. Whether or not you want to save some cash on a used device or just spend the extra and go new is obviously up to you. But if spending $1,200 or $1,300 on the new Ultra is a little extreme for your bank account, I definitely think the 21 Ultra is a good option in 2022. Well, that's all the information I have for today. As always, I hope you found this very useful. Thanks for watching, and until next time, this is Random Tech Info, signing out.